All right, let's get this going. Talking about He's Just Not That Into You in our movie commentary montage for February, our romantic comedy. He's Just Not That Into You. So, yes,
Valentine's special.
Valentine's special of the most delusional but real people you will ever meet. The secondhand embarrassment in this film is the
It's too
strongest.
real.
It's
Yeah.
real. It's not like movies where you're like, "Ooh, that was cringy." I watched this movie and I went, "I'm cringy. I'm bad." Not as bad as some of these people.
But we've been there.
We've been there.
When we think about the past relationships and the way we felt about them, dang, I was a little delusional to think about it that way.
No.
But you know what? That's real for humanity. We just get into our heads a little too much. But these relationships that they bring out in this movie are very entertaining, very crazy, very funny. And I have my own opinion specifically about Ben, Janine, Connor, and Anna and their freaking, I don't even know what to call their relationship, but we have some notes.
So, you're gonna say the characters' names. I did not pick up 99% of the character names. I'm just gonna say the actor.
Okay,
Um,
the only one I didn't get was Drew Barrymore's character. So we can just say Drew
I
Barrymore.
wrote Drew Barrymore. I didn't get her name either.
Okay.
Um, so let's start. The movie starts out with her getting pushed on the playground by this little boy, and then her mom is like, "Oh, sweetie, don't you know? Boys, when they push you, when they're mean to you, that means they like you."
I like you. I remember as a kid being told that too. And what the heck? No. Why is that what we learn? Because then you get it ruins the whole way you view relationships and what love is.
I was not told that as a kid, which sounds
Good.
surprising for my behavior, but I was not told that as a kid. I was
It makes sense for mine.
not. No, I was raised by people who were like, why would you be around them if they are mean to you? And I'm like, people change.
No, it's because you gave people the benefit of the doubt too
Out.
much.
I That's
Yep.
my fatal flaw is I'm like, maybe you'll be better.
Do they though? Do
Some
they?
Hey, actually, a lot of times I've dealt with it,
It's
they do.
because you become their therapist, their number one. And then they're like, wow, you helped me so much because you have a degree. Of course you helped them. You're like a free therapist while in a relationship.
It's not just free to them, the rent on me. Really, I'm paying to be their therapist. Um, no, but actually no, I grew up in a house that absolutely did not in any way subscribe to the idea that boys will be boys, or that like if a boy's mean to you that means he likes you. Like my parents were not about that at all. And I appreciate in the film she's like, that's where the problem is. The problem is
Exactly. Right when she said that too, like before she even said it, I was like, this is where it starts. And then she's like, this is the
where
problem. I'm like,
this is
yes,
where
you're
it
right,
starts.
Gigi. This is the problem. Like, there's so many times in this movie where I'm like, mm-hmm, yep, that's right. That's right. But also, I'm like, Gigi, you were also crazy. You were also
No,
crazy.
I want to be so real. Gigi is all of us. Gigi
Yeah.
is all of us hoping that there'll be a guy out there, a girl out there, somebody out there that will treat you right.
Yeah. The Prince Charming or Princess Charming of our
A knight,
lives.
if you will, a gender
Yes.
fluid knight. So I wrote down bullying is not love.
Yes. Bullying is not love.
And then I wrote, so the next Gigi, so the girl grows up and it's Gigi, and she is on a date with a guy. It's like whatever.
We find
I
out Connor, right?
Yes, Connor. He is an important
Connor.
guy.
Yeah.
I have no idea if a man watching this would be like, Connor's definitely not interested in Gigi, because I wouldn't
I
have been able to tell. It
I
seemed like
wouldn't
he
have
was
been able to tell
interested.
either. Like you couldn't tell. And like the way she also is kind of getting a feel for like, okay, is he liking this date? Should we get another round of drinks?
My God, men are terrible. She's trying to figure out if you like her, and you said, yeah, let's get another round of drinks.
And that just might be a misunderstanding between the sexes because maybe he was just being nice. Maybe he was just like, I mean, yeah, I could go for another drink. That sounds kind of cool. I got company here. Like, we could just get another drink. But for a girl that's trying to get a feel on a first date, it means something different. It's like, oh, well, then he likes me. He likes spending time with me, which means we could go on a second date, is what her brain was going to. She thought it went really great. And he was just like, "Mm,
I got it. I got it right here. I've just got Gigi's problem.
okay.
Gigi is wanting secret commitment immediately.
Mm.
Gigi's problem is kind of like what a lot of people's today's problem is. Um, People can't date people for like a couple months without like being like, what are we? And
She can't even go through a first date without asking that
no, yeah,
question.
that's what I mean. But I'm kind of like making this out like people like a lot of dating, especially like in our generation in general. There's a lot of like, are you texting me? Are you doing this and that? Like again, like after a
Are
couple
you
months,
sending me
like
good morning texts and
yeah,
shit? Yeah.
after the couple months, oh, like what are we? Are we like exclusive? Are we not? Which it's fine to want communication. That is not a
Yeah.
problem at all. And
Yep.
it's fine to like have standards, but I think this slow dating does not exist anymore for a lot of people. That's what I'm trying to do. Slow dating. So I guess in a way I'm a Connor in this scenario, except for he actually had no interest in her. He was just being nice. So I'm not Connor like that.
I
But
don't think Connor even wanted a slow dating
you
situation.
know
He
what?
also,
You're right. He just didn't like Gigi.
yeah, he just didn't like Gigi because he was so interested in another character whose name is Anna.
Oh, God.
Uh,
Scarlett Johansson is okay.
yes. And
Um,
that was why I think that's why the date actually failed was because he was too hung up. They could have possibly worked out because like there was nothing wrong with either of them. And they like seemed like they did have a good date. It was just he's so hung up on a person who's unavailable to him. Like she's just not there for him.
that's so real though. This movie is so real. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about though. But the only way Connor's gonna get out of that is by going on dates and meeting other people.
Yeah.
I just think that no lie, I'm gonna say this now. It's controversial. I think Gigi is boring,
That's fair.
and that's why
I
guys
don't
don't want to date
disagree.
her.
It's
So
not
yeah,
exciting enough for them to want because like they can clearly see that Gigi is there for like the ring. She wants immediately, we're gonna get dating, we're gonna fall in love, we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have kids. That is her end goal, which is fine to have. Like that's not a problem, but it's the how quick she wants it, and it's just unrealistic, almost like Disney-esque. And it's like that's not gonna happen.
so they leave the date. Gigi's calling her friend to be like, it went so well. Which every woman can relate.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
Connor's like calling Scarlett Johansson, aka Anna's character, to see if she's up. And that is my fucking nightmare. That I wrote down, Gigi and
Shit.
Connor are my nightmare. The idea that I go on a date with somebody and then
Mhm,
I walk away thinking it went well, and they
mhm,
are texting the person they're actually like romantically interested in that they're
mhm.
chasing.
What was the point?
My
Yeah.
nightmare. The question is though, have you ever done that?
I don't know because I don't know the other person's like way of seeing it. And I'm not going to share too much of my own like personal relationship stuff because most of my relationships come out pretty successful, not to like brag or nothing,
It's
but
bragging, but okay.
I know. But I haven't personally experienced that because I get it pretty quick as to if someone's interested or not. Like even with Richard, when I started realizing that I was like sending most of the messages and stuff, and like we wouldn't conversate unless I texted first and we'd have a little back and forth. And I was like, all right, I'm not gonna text him anymore. So once I stopped texting him, nothing. Freaking like I hadn't talked to him for years after that. So like that was my only instance where it was like, okay, that is obviously not the same kind of
Yeah.
attraction or like relationship. Um, but like yeah, Connor calls Anna and Anna's that person that's like, okay, hi Connor, like yeah, I'm at
Also
the
my nightmare. Also my
yeah.
nightmare. And
He
I'm
does
like,
not want to talk to Connor.
like I get like I'll leave. Like I don't have to be here. Like I'll leave. I'm good. You don't have to like I'm a joy to be around. You don't have to act like it's a fucking chore.
Yeah,
Connor's so nice to her. And not saying she owes him anything for
no,
her,
she does.
but
But
she
like
owes him decency.
she could at least like communicate, you know?
Yeah.
And like she just manipulates him pretty much the whole time for her own like validation and for her own emotional, like, I don't know what the right word is, like crutch in a way, or like just to make herself feel better. That's why she keeps him around, not because she
Oh,
actually
for sure.
likes him or cares about him. It's just because when she feels down, Connor is the person she can go to that will always lift her up because Connor is so obsessed with her.
Yeah. I also wrote down who wrote Scarlett Johansson's character.
For real, like, dude, Anna, least favorite character on the freaking movie. I
That's
do not
crazy.
like her.
That's a little fucking crazy.
I don't like her.
Bradley Cooper's character is my least favorite character in this movie.
That too. So like they're pretty much even to me. I don't like either of them pretty much evenly. I guess I could say I agree with you. Like Ben, he is on his own
Worst.
freaking pedestal of shit because he sucks. Like he Ben is also comes into this scene where like Anna picks up the phone from Connor and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting stuff. I was gonna hang out with friends, but chose not to." And then here intros Ben with like a six-pack of beer
Bradley
trying to buy
Cooper.
that. And yeah, Bradley Cooper. And she's like, "Oh," and he lets her cut in front of her. And like they have this like cute, flirty back and forth, like right off the bat. So like Anna is like, "Oh, this cute guy. Okay, let me hang up the phone on Connor and like focus my stuff on this new cute guy that let me go in front of him." Um, and their whole dynamic is just like immediately flirting, immediate like sexual stuff, and like he's totally into it, knowing that he's married.
Yeah,
Like he's
Ben is married.
married. Ben
Um,
is married to Janine.
is that her name? Okay, Ben is married. She's the actress I just kept calling her Ben's wife. Ben is
Okay.
married to Janine, which this would have been a totally cute meet cute if Ben
Mhm.
wasn't married.
Exactly. Like that's like everyone's kind of dream. They just bump into someone that might be a perfect fit for you. And like, yeah, I
I used to
totally get that.
I used
It's
to
just
dream about that as a kid. That
me
I
too.
would that I would
Me
be in the
too.
coffee shop
And
and
yeah, that's why I always like dress up going somewhere because you never know. You might just
the
find the
love
love
of
of
your
your
life.
life. And that's essentially what Anna thought. She thought she found like the perfect person because they just clicked right when they met. And it was definitely sexual attraction more than it was anything else. So like they go to the back of the I don't know, what do you call it? The little store, and they're flirting, they're going back and forth, and he's like, "Yeah, I could get you like a step into the music industry and shit." And it's like, okay, this is already a bad dynamic. Like, no. Now you're putting yourself at a higher level for this person, and like you only want to help her because you're sexually attracted to her. And you're fucking married, Ben. Like, and he finally tells her, "Oh yeah, I'm married. So like, I'm not the type of person that does this thing." Fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. He knows it. He wants to.
Okay,
Like,
hold on though.
okay.
You hate ScarJo. ScarJo did say the type of guy to do what? Help people out.
Mm-hmm.
She gave him the out
Yeah.
that this is just a career thing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but you're so beautiful and oh my God.
So
Like,
that solidifies that he only did this because he had an attraction to her.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he tells her he's married, and then they go their separate ways, exchange like business cards so like she could call him later. And he goes to his friend's car who was with him the whole time, but he's just waiting for him in the car. And
Ben Affleck.
in comes Ben Affleck's character, Neil, and
I don't, how do you remember all these people's names? I'm like, that's Brad, that's Ben.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I have it on the side here. But yeah, Neil comes in, and immediately Neil's like, I saw that. And Cooper or whatever his name, Ben is like, what, I can't talk to girls? Just because I'm married, I can't talk to girls? You know that's not what you're doing. Your friend knows that's not what you're doing. And this is also like, I don't like that Neil didn't call Ben out on this. Like the whole movie, Neil doesn't like call Ben out, even though they're like supposed to be best friends, and he's aware of like what's going on. At least in that scene, he knew because we don't see that Neil sees anything else. I think that's the only scene that like sees Ben be a dick like that while being married.
I also don't totally know how close of friends Ben and Neil actually are. And here's why I say this.
Okay.
It seems that all the girls, Janine, you said it's Janine her name?
Janine, yeah.
Jennifer Aniston's character's name. That is Neil's girlfriend. What is her name?
Beth.
Beth, Janine, and Gigi are all friends who work at the same job. So I
Mhm.
assume Brad and Neil, not Brad, Ben and Neil only know each other because of
Through
Janine
their
and
Mhm.
whatever. What the fuck did you say her name? Beth, Janine, and Beth.
Yeah.
Um, I assume that's the only reason they know each other. So I mean, he wasn't gonna live on his boat later, but maybe that's just like a guy thing. Um, but
Like
he
no one else
kind of
checked
gets
on him.
it, huh?
Like no one else checked on him while he was on that boat. Because like Beth had sent, or was it Janine that had sent Ben to check
Beth
on
had
Neil's
sent
boat?
Neil to his boat, and then Ben was gonna live on the boat later when he got caught cheating.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I just wrote here Bradley Cooper sucks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so we flash forward now we meet Neil and Beth, which is just Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck. They're a cute couple. They do stuff for each other. They seem to be the most healthy couple in the entire goddamn movie. It just
Yeah.
the biggest problem is that Beth wants to get married and
And
Neil
Neil
doesn't. And this is where I sit here. This is my soapbox. Everyone, I'm getting on it. I'm gonna say this with my whole degree. You cannot get into a relationship with somebody that has a stark difference in life plans than you with the hope that they will change. You
Mhm.
cannot do that. If you want kids and she doesn't want kids or he doesn't want kids, don't get with them unless you're okay not having kids.
Yeah. Unless you're willing to give up that future that you
Yeah,
had thought about.
absolutely. If they want to get married and you don't want to get married, don't do it. One of you is going to bend, and that's not good because you had convictions about it before, probably for good reason, or nobody bends and somebody's unhappy, or both of you are unhappy. You want to live one place and they want to live another, don't fucking do it. You should not be with somebody whose life plans, not in a serious way, should not be with somebody whose life plans drastically alter from yours.
Mm.
I cannot be more clear about that. So that's just my soapbox about those two. Otherwise, they're a completely good couple. We just see them doing cute stuff,
Yeah.
hanging out. They're like completely fine. I have nothing else to say about them in this moment, at least.
I
Uh,
agree. I really like their relationship.
so we go to the office where we find out all the girlies are friends,
Yes.
and they do a montage uh of girls giving terrible advice to other girls, and I actually
Yes. I thought that was so funny. I'm like, that's so true. Yes. They're
yes.
just always saying like, oh, maybe he's just like, maybe he just couldn't find your hut number. I was,
Oh yeah, they do it internationally, and they're at one point near the end. It is a bunch of women in Africa, and they're like washing clothes or something. And one girl says to one the other girl, there's three girls, and she goes, "Maybe he lost your hut number." And then the other one says something like,
maybe he got hit by a rhino.
yeah, she goes, "No, maybe he got eaten by a lion." And she
Oh,
looks at her friends, and she goes, "You guys are the best," and that's so accurate. That is so accurate to tell your friends about a guy and being like, I don't know if he likes me, and they'll
yeah.
tell you terrible advice where they're like,
And they're like, maybe you're just too good for him. He's just not emotionally available right now. Like, just
yeah,
any of those excuses of like, but at the end of it, he's just not that into you. It could just be that he's just not that interested. And that's why he's not calling you back.
it's unfortunately probably that, and I get why we don't want to say it. It hurts our feelings.
Yeah.
That's why we hate mixed communication.
Mm.
We hate guys with mixed signals. Pick a lane.
Just freaking tell us and
Tell us,
stick to it.
especially when you have the opportunity. Tell us.
We give you openings, we give you doors. And if you don't go through that door, then now we are in the middle. We don't know what's happening. Are we leaving this door open or closed, bro? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the trick. If you leave it halfway open, you can always walk in and out.
Mother truckers. They
Yeah.
know that. Yeah.
So it's a funny montage of girls just telling each other, "Oh, you're too emotionally mature for him. Oh, he's definitely gonna call." Um,
Mhm.
and it's supposed to point out that we need to stop doing that. We need to
Yeah.
just say the phrase, "He's just not that into you," or maybe he is that into you. Um, he needs to show that he's that into you. It's not hard.
Actions.
So
Yeah, actions and things that they do.
I wrote, "Stop giving bad advice."
Mhm.
And then Gigi goes to a bar because her plan is to run into Connor. At the bar, she meets Justin Long's character. I don't remember his name.
Alex.
Alex, yes. She meets Alex and she's like, "Oh, I just here to return this pen to this guy, Connor." And he goes, "Oh, I know Connor." Because later we found out,
Immediately Gigi's like, fuck.
fucked. Yeah.
Oh
She,
no.
earlier we found out that Connor is hanging out at, or just Alex is hanging out at Connor's house.
Hmm.
So they're friends. They know each other, and that's how Alex knows that Connor's not that interested in Gigi.
Yeah.
So she shows up. She's got the pen at the bar, and Justin's like, "You know what? I'm gonna do something nice for you here. Connor's not interested in you. You know, if a guy does these things, that means he's not interested in you." I understand that the point of the movie is that Alex is supposed to be this like dating guru who's gonna say, "Oh, like the true, honest things" or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, that being said, what's it called? That being said, he's a dick. And I'm kind of, I'm going to say this and I would get this tattooed on me. Honesty does not have to be brutal.
Mm.
He's kind of a dick to Gigi, and Gigi
How
accepts that
brutally honest he is.
because me and Gigi are the same, unfortunately, where it's a lot of chances we like the benefit of the doubt of people. She is taking because she's intrigued by him and his knowledge because he's being honest to her. And that's a problem. Not enough of us are honest to each other. So when somebody is mean and honest, you still want to be around them
Because
because
they're being honest. Yeah. Because you can
yeah,
trust what they're saying.
because you trust what they're saying. Because someone's finally saying the fucking truth to you, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God. So he's a dick. I'm just gonna say that the whole movie he's a dick. I think the ending is bullshit because I think he's kind of a dick, and he does zero to change, in my opinion. That being said, he's like, Connor's not that into you. So Gigi takes his fun knowledge, and she's like, holy shit, and she does something only I would do, which is make a list of all the dates she's had and why they didn't go anywhere
She
or
did so
why.
much research.
She did so
Yeah.
much research. I love her. That's me. I would do that. Um,
And she had an article for work that she was supposed to be doing
Gigi
too.
was working. Gigi doesn't do her job the whole movie because Gigi is trying to figure out why men don't like her. And I'm like, Gigi, that might be part of your problem.
Yeah, that was her problem. She's just overly obsessed about finding like the perfect person to date that is utterly obsessed with her equally. And it's just not happening for her because
Uh,
she's acting Delulu.
because she's acting Delulu. I understand, but even I am like, I have a job. I will
Yeah.
put the phone down to go like work on the house. Like I have a job. I have to be somewhere. But she makes
She
the list.
doesn't care. She doesn't care about that.
I know Gigi's like, boys, oh no, you know there we missed this. We missed this part. Gigi was so real for this. I wish I had somebody was so real for this counter. When Gigi calls her friend and to get her answering machine and she goes, I'm gonna go to
Mm.
the bar and stage a fake running in at him. If I'm not supposed to do this, pick up the phone now. And then she's like, I'm taking your silence as compliance. And then she puts it down.
It was such a quick phone call too. It was like she was nowhere she was gonna answer the
That
phone in that
again,
amount of time.
unfortunately, I have to say, everybody, I'm so sorry. That is me
Oh,
behavior.
absolutely.
That's me. If you're, I've done that to you. Like, I'm gonna go do the thing. No one said anything for 15 minutes. I'm gonna do it. Um,
Wait.
she made a list of why all the guys didn't work and or the guys who were too mean to her that she just like let them be mean to her because she thought they would change. Remember that one where she was like, I had a guy who would break up with me every weekend so he could be single, and I was
Oh
so
my God.
delusional. No. She goes, I was so delusional about that. I would refer to him as my husband to strangers. I'm bad. I'm not
Not
that
that
bad.
bad.
That's
Not that
that's the
bad.
level, bitch. That's
Yeah.
delusional. I've
That
never called a man anything.
But it definitely just gives like a perspective of her character. Like this lady will jump to conclusions with the slightest inkling that this person might just like this person. And we get another scene later too where she like goes on a I wouldn't call it a date, but like with Alex and he's like she's like, "Why are you helping me all the time?" And Alex is like, "Well, because I like you." And Gigi's like, "You like me?
Like me.
You like me?" And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh, oh.
whoa. Don't go crazy."
So,
Because he knows at that point, like, okay, you're being crazy. You're kind of crazy about guys.
yeah, I wrote this movie is about delusion.
Mm.
Um, but we're absolutely skipping around to stuff. This is our just absolute yap about this movie. Sorry if we missed anybody's favorite parts. It's kind of hard to have a favorite part in this movie, in my opinion.
It's a really long movie too. So like if we're gonna make this an hour, we're gonna have to jump around to just specific scenes.
Yeah. So I also wrote I miss 2000s fashion, and I was specifically referring to when Scarlett Johansson and Drew Barrymore are getting their nails done.
Hmm.
And she's just wearing, and Scarlett Johansson just has her hair in a ponytail like this, and she's just
Yeah.
wearing like sweats, and I'm like, ugh,
So nice.
before we had to be fashionable.
Yeah. They're just getting their nails done. People still go get their nails done like that. It's
Oh
still
yeah. And then
yeah.
Bradley, she calls Bradley Cooper, and he's like, I can't do this with you. And she's like, oh, okay. So then she goes to Connor, and Connor is like, oh my God, she's here tonight. Like, I love that. She's like so into me. And she's just using him for
Because she got
emotional.
rejected. She essentially got rejected by the guy she wanted to have a date with, even though she knows that he's married. And she talks to Drew Barrymore's character about this too. She's like,
Oh,
he,
hold on.
what?
This is an important part we missed. It's important for the rest of the movie. Alex is
Uh-huh.
explaining to Gigi how guys work. And he explains to her there's pretty much the rule, and then there's the exception. We actually jumped a huge part. There's the rule, and then there's the exception. And he explains that when girls tell their friends, "Oh, I knew somebody who did this thing and then this thing, and then he married her," that girl's the exception, not the
Hmm.
rule.
Not the rule.
And
Yeah.
she will later tell this to Jennifer Aniston's character when she's going off her list of bad guys, and Jennifer Aniston will go, "So you're telling me when I heard a story about this girl who was waiting 13 years for a ring and then finally got it, she's the exception, but somebody like me who's been waiting 7 years for a ring is never gonna get it?" And then that's when not Jennifer Aniston breaks up with Neil because she's like,
Hmm.
"You're never gonna marry me," but we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a little that's right after this scene. But this is important for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Most of these people are the rule, not the exception.
Hmm.
And that is what later Drew Barrymore will be telling Scarlett Johansson when she goes, heard about somebody who divorced his wife and then he met the love of his life and then they've been married for 22 years.
Yeah.
She's the
And that gives Scarlett Johansson, Anna, the delusion of that could be me. I could be the exception. He could leave his wife for me because I'm the true person he should be with.
Mhm.
The Lulu.
It's
That's
absolutely Delulu. And then she goes to Connor because she gets rejected. And guys unfortunately do not get this. And I don't know how to explain it to them any better. Girls will go to you because you feed their ego. And I know guys do this too.
yeah.
Guys go to girls because they feed their egos. Like I get it. Unfortunately, I get it. But like girls, like, you could think you're dating a girl, you're semi dating a girl, but if she's inconsistent in the affection she's giving you, it's because you feed her ego.
Yeah.
And usually, and especially like at specific times, like she's not getting the attention from guy A, so you're guy B.
Yeah. Sorry, but I
It's
mean,
it's super awful, but like it doesn't make them a terrible person. You're not a terrible person for doing that. You should be mindful. You should not be doing that because that can really hurt somebody. But what it
and it
is
does. Yeah.
you feel bad. You feel bad, and then there's this person here that makes you feel good.
Hmm.
And they're usually, not to say a better person than you, but they're usually a nicer person than you. And they'll put up with your shit because they like you or they're nice or whatever. But that's what it is with Connor. Connor's a nice guy. Yeah, he didn't like Gigi. He didn't call her back.
Yeah. But
That's
that's
nice
not
to
the
him.
that's like the worst thing he
That's
does,
the
which is
worst thing
not even that bad.
he
Like,
yeah. It's the worst thing he does the whole movie. He's super nice. So yeah, sorry, there are girls out there who she's waiting for a text from a guy. She's not getting the text from the guy, so she's texting you. If her communication is crazy inconsistent,
Hmm.
that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
And especially like even if you're thinking about the type of conversation you may be having with that person, is it you that's always giving them these compliments and they're almost like fishing for them? Because like you can tell
mhm,
when someone's fishing. And
mhm.
it's like, okay, it's a pattern that like usually you have to pick up on and then be like, okay, this is what's happening. But it does suck and it does happen.
Does she cancel on dates last minute or ask you to hang out all of a sudden?
Hmm.
She was busy, and then all of a sudden she's free.
Yeah. And then right after she gets that validation from him of like
It
saying when
is.
he yeah, she leaves because he says you're cute and you're sexy. And she's like, that's not really what I was asking for. And he's like, well, you're all four of them. I love you. Like, you're amazing. You're fantastic. Anyone would be lucky to have you. And then she's like, oh, you're the best. Hugs him, kisses him. That's where I'm like, Anna, what are you doing? Why are you kissing him? Like, what the
This is fucked up. Yeah.
and then she leaves. Like, and Connor's like, you could spend the night. And she's like, I shouldn't. I couldn't. And then she leaves because she got what she needed from that situation. And they probably didn't talk until the next time that she needed that validation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. I think the kiss was fucked up, but I think she gave him the kiss because she felt bad.
mm. So it
And
was like a pity kiss because she knew what she was doing.
I think it was a mix. I think she was really grateful to how I think she does like Connor.
It's just not like in that way. It's not like that spark that she feels or like she's
Yes.
not, this is obviously not the person for me. This is not the one for me, but he is the safe option. He's the
Yes.
option that like I know exactly what I will get from Connor. Whereas all these other options, I don't know what I'm going to get from these other men. Like
Which
it's kind of up in the air.
gets addressed later in the movie, and I will give it to ScarJo um for how she handles the way this goes because I actually thought this was pretty healthy. I think ScarJo and Connor could have been friends, but she just they weren't communicating well, and Connor was idealizing her. And there's this great thing I heard once about putting people on a pedestal.
Hmm.
It says, uh, you can't put somebody on a pedestal because then all they can do is look down on you.
Damn. That's deep.
Yeah, and we do it. I mean, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
But so that happens. She leaves. I went Connor is an emotional pillow. So Jennifer Aniston comes home and she sees Ben Affleck. I'm just saying these names now. Ben Affleck, and she's like, stop. He's like doing a thing she asked him to do because he is a good boyfriend. He's a
Hmm.
good
Putting up
partner.
a painting that she had asked him to do like a month ago, and he's like, I'm getting around to it. You asked me to, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And she's like, stop doing nice things for me unless you're gonna marry me.
I don't think that was an unfair reaction, and let me explain. She needs him to be mean so she can leave.
Yeah. She's
It's
like, you're too nice to me. I don't want to leave because I'm happy with you. Like, this is a good relationship, but I want a ring and you don't.
yeah, she's in love with him. She loves him very much, and when he's kind to her, she loves him more. And so she's like, I need you not to be kind to me so I can hate you, which is super unhealthy. But I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
So she's like, we can't be together. You gotta go. So she's like, either marry me or leave. And he's like, well, I'm gonna leave, I guess.
Yeah.
So then he goes to live on his boat like a seaman, and seaman,
Amen.
cement, Clementine. Now I'm just thinking how the word cement sounds or spelled. Um, C is Spanish for yes. Uh, I'm just doing bits now. Sorry. So I wrote down that there's a next scene where we see Bradley Cooper's character and Janice, and she's talking about having a baby. He,
Oh,
he
before they even talk about the baby,
is
though.
calling Scarlett Johansson to make cheating plans with her, essentially.
Yes, he's like, hey, he's hiding behind boxes. He went upstairs, sat behind the boxes to hide from Janine, and he's calling her, leaving her a voicemail of like, I want to see you again, or like, I found this deal. Like he's luring her to his office essentially to like
Yes.
for this like voice
Oh
deal.
my God. You cannot date people you have a power dynamic professionally with. You
Yes.
cannot date your employees. You cannot date your superior. You can't don't date your superior. Don't date your coworkers, but don't date somebody where there's a power dynamic.
Yeah, it's not doesn't not no, don't do it. It's off the light. So yeah, he calls, leaves a voicemail, and right afterwards, Janine comes in and like spooks him because he knows what he was doing. Like it was all a plan.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh crap, dude, my wife almost caught me leaving a voicemail to this hot trick I'm trying to bang right now.
Yes. So
Um,
what did you say her name was? Janice? Janice?
Janine,
Janine.
Janine.
Janine's like, we could have a baby. And he's like, yeah, we can have a baby, essentially.
He like you could tell that he laughs it off in a sense. He's like, yeah, we can have a baby, but like maybe not right now. Like let's well, that might be future talk, but like that's still leaning Janine on of like, okay, we're gonna have a baby. Like he's thinking about it, but we're just not there yet.
It's
Which
so fucked.
it's so messed up because he's not even thinking about the baby. He's thinking about fucking Anna. Like,
Yeah, he is. So then we go to Anna and Bradley Cooper, and they're talking, and ScarJo and Bradley Cooper, they're like, we can be friends, naked friends or whatever. I don't know. She gets in the pool and she's naked, and this is fucked up. But he explains that the reason he married his wife was because she ultimated him. She said, either break up with me or marry me. She pulled a Jennifer Aniston, and Ben Affleck chose to break up because he wanted to stand on his principles. And Bradley Cooper chose to get married because I'm sure he thought, well, I do love her, so we'll
yeah,
get married
I don't
eventually.
want to lose her, so I'm gonna marry her,
So
essentially.
she's a
Yeah.
control freak. Um, he should have just said no. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be with somebody giving you ultimatums like that. I can see where him and I can see where he's coming from of like he kind of got pushed into something he wasn't ready for.
Yeah. But this is another situation that just comes down to open communication. And of course, like with control the way she is, I can see where it might be hard to have that open communication because she would have freaked out. She would have probably been upset. And when talking to someone that's going to eat quickly get upset like that, it makes it hard to tell them the truth.
Yeah,
But that would have avoided this whole freaking shebang. Like if that initial conversation happened of like, I'm just not ready for marriage. I love you, I care about you, but I don't want to get married. And
yeah,
then they would have probably broken up and gone separate ways or whatever have you. Or she would have understood and then they would have stayed together until he was ready or figured something out.
yeah,
But like because of the ultimatum, it put them down this other path where it led to infidelity and like them having so many problems because he wasn't ready to commit. He was forced to commit. And that's just not going to end in success.
So then we see, and we're skipping over a bunch of stuff, I'm sure. Oh, at one point you meet Drew Barrymore. She writes a column. She's a bunch of gay coworkers. She's helping out Connor by putting he's a real estate mogul, by putting his real estate stuff in there. That's such a beeline side story. Drew Barrymore's a
Yeah. And
brilliant.
she's also trying to find love in her own thing because there's one scene I want to talk about that I think is super funny when one of her scenes, you know what I'm talking
Are you
about.
seeing what the voice messages?
Yes.
So bad. We'll get to there. We'll get to there.
Yeah.
So and then we see, they're like fixing up the house, and Bradley Cooper's wife,
Janine.
Janine, um, she goes, Javier, I thought we talked about tarping the furniture. And I only bring this up as somebody who is who is like learning the trade of
Renovating?
renovating houses
Yeah.
because she runs her hand across the furniture.
And there's
Javier, you should have tarped the furniture. As
yeah.
somebody who's in that world, you should have. You do have to tarp the furniture. Why
Yeah.
did you not tarp the furniture? You're just
Yeah.
leaving that shit out in the open to get paint on, to get dust on, to get five. You could get so much on that. What are you doing? Tarp the
Yeah.
furniture. I was mad about that. I just had to write that down. Because Janine finds cigarettes and she's like, "Is your guy smoking?" But really, we all know it's Bradley Cooper, and she knows it's Bradley Cooper deep down, and she'll act like a nut job about it for the rest of the movie because he'll
And
keep
I
lying.
understand to an extent she's traumatized about cigarettes. Her dad like died due to lung cancer, probably from smoking. So like it's a big deal for her. And because it's such a big deal, Ben should have respected that.
Yes, I don't think he should have lied about it.
Absolutely not.
I
No, of
don't
course not.
know if
He gaslit the
I,
crap out of her.
I don't know if she has the right to tell him he can't smoke.
I think when you're dating someone or you have a partnership or even like that type, that's a conversation they probably had from the get-go of like what smoking meant to her and how important it was to her. And when you have a partner like that, and like if you love that person, you're going to give up certain things that is going to affect them in such a bad way that it's going to affect your relationship. And it is also a nasty habit. So it's like him directly disrespecting that is also a red flag. And him later lying about it and gaslighting her, like the gaslighting was crazy because like I felt like the first time I watched this, I went through those emotions of like, well, maybe he's not lying because he's a good actor. Like he acted as if he wasn't the one smoking. And he was like, man, I think these renovations are just getting to your head. I
Yeah.
think they're just too much for you. And that's why you're just getting a little crazy right now and thinking I'm smoking and blames the contractors. And
Oh, he says they say it all PC, but what he says is we've got a bunch of undocumented workers, hundreds of undocumented workers here, which also you don't have hundreds, calm down, but
fucking Ben. Right?
undocumented workers here every day.
Another reason why Ben sucks.
What in the xenophobia? Why do you have to bring up that they're undocumented? Just
Yeah.
say workers, asshole. You're saying undocumented to give the idea that like they do whatever they
They're
want.
distrustful or that they're gonna lie about doing like something that is it which is bull, like it's complete bull. When she like then confronts Javier, the main
Dude, she
constructor,
like goes off on Javier. She's like, "Are you guys
yeah. And
smoking?"
Javier's like, this is a little too personal. Like my guys are good. They don't smoke on the job. Like if they do, they're not anywhere near here. And he's like, he's got his workers back, but like that whole scenario and
That was
situation
so
is
bad.
sucky.
Um,
Not good.
so then we find out that Justin is like, "I'm gonna help Gigi. I'm gonna help you out." So he's now like on the Gigi train. So Gigi will call him. She calls him at the bar and he's working. He stops working to go into his office to give Gigi advice about a man.
Hmm.
This is where last night when we were texting about this, if Justin or fuck it, if Justin Long's character didn't like Gigi, why are you doing this? This is the most mixed message shit I feel in the whole fucking movie.
I don't get that feeling until the second phone call when he's mid makeout session stops and answer the phone call. I don't feel like that during that scene because I would do that for a friend. Like if I
Are
was
they
working,
friends? He doesn't
yeah.
know her. He didn't. No, 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 no. Because she picks up the phone and he goes, Gigi,
Oh, he has to remember who she
and
is. So
she's
they're
like,
not
the
like
dentist
close
apparently.
friends.
Yeah, she's like, and he's like, oh yeah, let me go to my office so we can talk about this in private.
So he has an interest in her, but it's not like he likes her. Like he's just interested.
I recognize that. That is so mixed fucking signaling. A normal person would say, hey, I'm working right now. Can I call you about it later? He was in the middle of a rush. He stops to talk to Gigi.
That's
He
fair.
is not I'm telling you, he does the most mixed message shit I've ever seen in my life. Um Also, there's this like I don't even want to like stick on this too long, but there's a scene where Scarlett Johansson says she wants to dry hump Bradley Cooper's
I had that in my notes too, which is
ass.
just wild for her to
What
say.
do
Yes,
you mean?
that's
Because that's not how that would work. Why would you dry hump
right hump his
ass?
butt. Yeah, that's maybe she wants to do strap-on stuff. I don't know.
I no, because it's dry hump. I guess she could be wet. I don't know. I hated it. I hated the dialogue and I hate that they made her say it.
Yeah. I wonder how she felt about it. She's like, dry hump his ass. I mean, okay, but that's crazy. It's weird.
So then
But
later
okay.
Justin Long, something else. Oh, Gigi's on a date and the guy's like making out with her, and it's clearly gonna get fun. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be out of town next week, so like I don't even know like when I could see you again." So she's like, "Oh, give me a second. I had too many Diet Cokes. I gotta go pee." So
Yeah.
she calls Justin Long, and she's like, "Hey, what's the deal with this?" He's making out with somebody. He
Hmm.
stops mid makeout, and she knows he's like with somebody. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." Like, and he's like, "No, no, no, let me help you."
Mid makeout, absolutely. I would not even be answering the
I
phone.
know.
And I think that he actually put her phone number into his phone because he saw the caller contacts. He's like, oh shit, it's Gigi. So I have to answer. And that was when I was like, oh, he likes her. He just doesn't know it yet. Like, no one does that. If I was mid and I was actually like make out session, I actually like the person I was making out with, nothing was gonna keep me from making out with that person. I don't care who's calling.
I
I'm gonna freaking put that to the side and keep on making out and probably have sex.
I have a thing. If you are texting somebody on your date, if you are texting somebody right after the date, if you are stopping mid makeout to talk to this person, um, I believe whether or not you understand this or not, you have romantic feelings for this person. Unless this person is like somebody who immediately needs your attention,
Mhm.
you have romantic feelings for this person. Maybe you don't know it,
But you do.
but you do because
Mhm.
why would you? Why are they holding you back from this other shit? Because like what? So yeah,
Yeah.
he stops mid makeout to give Gigi advice. He's basically like, "Don't fuck that guy. He's just bullshitting you." And Gigi's like, "Cool, cool." Gigi feels like she has a superpower now because she can walk through the world treating men like garbage. Because she's beating them to the punch of like, you know what? Like if they're gonna be like this, I'm gonna be like this. And then we see that Jennifer Aniston's cousin is getting married. They made her walk the dog down the aisle. I understand that is not a big deal to you. That is to me because she just got broken up with. That's fine.
Who else was
I'd
gonna walk with her? Like it was going to be Ben
rather
Affleck's character.
walked with myself than walked the fucking dog.
The dog's part of the family.
Whatever. She's a dog trainer. This is why she's saying stupid shit like this. Um,
Not stupid
so
shit. Okay.
this guy is giving like a little speech at the engagement party before the wedding happens about his cousin, and he's
Oh my
like,
God.
Jennifer Aniston's sister in the movie, and he's like, "She's so hot. Everyone's gonna be so sad that she's off the market. She's hot. Don't know
Freaking
what
weird.
this is about." And then he goes, but don't worry, guys. Her older sister, I know she's an older model, but she's
Model.
still good.
Better hurry up though, because she might just, boop.
Yeah,
She'll no one's gonna be interested in that in a few years.
yeah.
Fucking
That's a
asshole.
dick. That guy's so weird and a dick.
I
Uh,
love her dad. Her dad's pretty cool.
yeah. Her dad's super sweet. Um, so then we flip over to uh Bradley Cooper. He has now had this affair with Scarlett Johansson. He tells his wife in the middle of a Home Depot, and she is unhinged. She has, first off, her hair's in pigtails, and I hate it. And she is so unhinged. She is like, "Did you do this to me in a Home Depot because you know I won't make a public scene?" I don't believe that's what happened. I
I
believe
don't think that's what happened either.
I couldn't sit with it anymore. And I've definitely been in situations with people where I've had a secret.
Hmm.
I think if I remember correctly, I wasn't lying, but I knew somebody else was lying, and they were talking about, it, and I was like, "Fuck, okay, this is like that's not what's really happening. This is what's really happening. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, you need to know this is what's
Yeah.
actually happening." It
Yeah.
comes out like word vomit. It just happens.
And
But
it happened because they were talking about laminate and real wood, and she was like talking about laminate's just fake wood. Just be who you are and own up to it. And that's when he just couldn't hold it back anymore. And he was like, I had an affair. Um, that whole conversation, like, I feel like they both did a really good acting with. Like they both of their acting was good. Like I really felt like I was in the scene with them, and that's crazy.
it was
I
horrible.
feel like I had more notes on that, but I didn't write it down.
Honestly, I wanted to get the fuck out of that scene.
Really?
It was so uncomfortable. I
It
was
was uncomfortable, but that's what I like. I appreciated out of it because it is such an uncomfortable conversation to be having. And then like she's trying to get a feel of like how much he wants that relationship because he's like, yeah, and he already planned it because he was
yeah.
like, yeah, Ben knows, or yeah, Ben Affleck's character Neil knows that about the affair and that he was going to stay on his boat. And she was like, "Oh, so now you want to leave me? Like, you don't want to work on us? You don't want to have this relationship and like get past this together?" She's just trying to get a feel for like how he feels. And he has to sit back and think for a second because he really doesn't want to work on it.
No.
He wants to continue fucking Anna. he doesn't want to have this relationship, but instead of telling the truth and communicating that, he's like, yes, yeah, I want to work on us. And then they continue on with their like shopping thing.
It it's garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage human being. Um, why isn't Connor gay? Connor feels like he would do so well being gay.
He
Um,
would do well, but he's just not into men, Jay.
I know, but I'm like, has he tried? Because it just seems like he'd do really well being gay. So Connor's at a he's at a realtor event where all the gay guys are there because Drew Barrymore put his thing in the gay column, and they see Anna and they're like, "So what are you doing with that, bro?" And he's like, "I'm trying to like wipe that shit up, but like
He
she ain't
ain't feeling
fucking,
me. She's
she ain't feeling me."
yeah.
And they're like, "Let her know you're actually like for real. Maybe she just thinks you're fucking around. Let her know you're for real." And Connor's like, "Thanks. What's up?" He didn't say anything like that. That was just my version of what happened.
It
Uh,
was essentially what happened. Yeah.
Connor said it all, but like as a white person.
Yeah.
So then the next thing we see is Drew Barrymore talking about how this date she went on and all her gay colleagues, because I guess Drew Barrymore works at the only gay newspaper in town.
Everyone is gay. Yeah,
Everyone is
everyone there
gay.
is gay.
Everyone is gay.
But she gets like this voicemail from the guy she went on a date with, and the gay guy's like, yes, let's listen to the voicemail. He probably called you already. And then the voicemail is this guy's made a song for her.
Mary, that's her name.
Mary. Yeah, that's the only way I remember it.
That's her name.
Mary, 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 Mary.
Mary.
And then
My God, it's so cute.
there's two voicemails on the answering machine. So the second one,
Joke. Whoever wrote this joke, I hope they gave them an extra like 30 bucks. This is a good
it
joke.
was it was good. And then it's same guy, but he's like, Jenny, 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 Jenny. He's like, and then he looks at the phone number. He's like, oh shit.
A dial. And then they hang up, and the gay guys behind her are like,
Mm.
they're like, Mary, we're so sorry we had to witness your assassination.
And she just turns it off. She like deletes the
He does.
messages.
Mary, a real one for that.
Yeah, she like delete.
She was a real one.
Uh,
I just wrote down here, gay guys are so real. Um, Bradley Cooper should have just copped to the smoking.
oh, I know that it would have just been so much better if he was honest about, but that's been his whole problem the whole movie. He's just
I know.
not an honest person. Like,
She just copped to the smoking. Oh, I think I jumped ahead. This is where she does the unhinged shit where she's like, "You're cheating on me." Um, yeah, she should just cop to the smoking. I don't know why he doesn't. He's like a fucking nut job. So then we're at the wedding. Jennifer Aniston is walking the dog down the aisle. Her dad is like, "Hey, I know it's kind of rough right now, but you're still my favorite daughter. I love you." He has a heart attack, and she's now stuck taking care of her dad while her sisters are at the table crying the entire time, and their husbands are doing nothing. They're
nothing.
watching the fucking games and like
Yeah.
getting takeout and not helping as Jennifer Aniston is cooking for her father, cleaning the house. She's
Yeah.
being a good daughter, and everyone else is basically like saying "fuck you" to her essentially.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
then
it shows like the kitchen too. Like the kitchen's so fucking dirty. No one's ever like done any dishes whatsoever.
is helping her. So
Yeah.
then the next scene we see is Jennifer. No, the next scene we see is that Scarlett Johansson, her demo goes well with the guy because Bradley Cooper
Mm.
really did know a person, and they're gonna fuck in his office, and then his wife shows up, so he shoves Scarlett Johansson in a closet. And then his wife is like, "Do you want to work on this marriage or not?" And she fucks him in the office with Scarlett
While
Johansson,
he's in the closet, yeah.
and the wife leaves, and Scarlett Johansson comes out. She's so real for this.
Mhm.
She's basically like,
You
"Fuck
will never touch me again.
you,
Yeah.
will never touch me again. You are disgusting." Because I think she was under the impression that he was leaving his wife, that this was like, and
Gonna
it's
work for
like
them.
so real
Yeah.
for her, so good for her to like be like, fucking leave.
Yeah.
Um, so she leaves, and that's kind of the end of Brad and her. So then we go to this party that Justin Long has invited Gigi to. And at the party, he kind of asks her to help like fill chips and dip or whatever. And she's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you mean like co-hosting?" Because the gay guys have messed up. They told Gigi, "So like who'd invited you?" And they were like, "Oh, we got invited by some guy named Connor who knows Mary." And Gigi's like, "Fucking Connor." Um, we're so real for that. So real for that. So they're like, are you on a date with each other? Are you co-hosting? That's like so awkward to try to figure out. And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And then he asks her to fill up chips and dip, and she's like co-hosting, and he's like, yeah, sure, like co-hosting.
Sure. Yeah.
And she takes this shit seriously until this other hotter like model is helping too, and then she's like, what the heck? But she's
Yeah.
still co-hosting. And then at the end of the night, she's cleaned everything up, and which I will say, in fairness to Justin, is something your friend would do. I
Yeah.
don't think that Justin should have understood that situation
Yeah.
because I would do that for a friend.
Same.
And he's playing video games with the hot girl, and then the Gigi's like, well, it's like 3 a.m., kind of trying to see if Justin's like go home or not.
Hmm.
And the girl's like, oh, it's 3 a.m., I gotta go. So she leaves, and she's sitting with Justin, and Justin's like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to bed. And she says, and you can go ahead and say it because look,
He's like,
listen, I'm bad. I would have left as soon as I realized it was just him and the model. I'd have been like, "Oh, I read the situation wrong.
yeah.
I'm gonna leave home." But instead, he goes, I'm gonna go to bed," and she says,
Is that an invitation? Wild.
"You would never catch me
No.
doing that."
No. And then she immediately was like, oh, sorry, that's just so forward of me. And then proceeds to like jump him.
That is the only way to describe what she has done. She's jumped him, but with making out, like,
Yeah. And
and it's
kissing him. And he's like, whoa, dude.
like,
What
Gigi,
is
what the
happening?
heck? So she's like, but you talk to me when you're with other girls, and you do this and you do that, and he's like, Gigi, doesn't mean I like you like that, which could have fooled me, could have
That's because you're
fooled
Delulu.
me, huh?
That's because you're Delulu.
You're so mean. No, like 20 minutes ago that was accurate. Could have fooled me. So he's like, he goes off and he's like, why do women do this? Why do they make things so much bigger than they are? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And she says, and I actually thought Gigi was more correct when she said this shit. Um,
Hmm.
she's telling him, you know what? I'd rather be like me and overanalyze every little thing and think that everything's more than what it is than be like you and think women are disposable and that
Yeah.
everything's just a game and nothing actually matters. I would rather be somebody who cared too much than somebody who cared not enough. And I'm way closer to finding love than you are. And she's
True.
completely right. I stand on the hill that Gigi is right.
That was facts.
That
Yeah.
was facts. She was a real one for that. And then she left. And she gave the best Hillary Duff waiting for you is like waiting for this rain. Useless and disappointing. We love her for that. So she leaves and Justin Long's like, holy shit, that was a lot. Um
And then he starts to realize he actually does love her. Yeah.
yeah, he starts to realize that he actually is like, oh, maybe I made him. Oh no, not yet, not yet. Because then we jump to Jennifer Aniston. She's cleaning up the house and she sees it, her useless ass family, and she looks in, and of who's there? Ben Affleck doing the dishes. And I stand that's so Nobu coded. Nobu
Yeah.
has done that for me. That
Yeah.
is so
No expectation either. He's not doing that expecting her to like be with him again or like he's not expecting anything from her. He just knows the situation she's in and helping because he
love
loves
her
and cares about her.
because
But
he
he's not expecting that they're going to get back together just because he did this shit. Like it's just they are not like they're also friends.
yes,
Like
thank you.
yeah.
That is the thing. If you are not friends with your partner, which is why I'm such a big fan of friends to lovers, if you are not friends with your partner, you cannot make this shit work because you're not seeing them for what they are, you're seeing them for what they are to you.
Yeah.
He is there to help her. Again, it is so absolutely Nobu coded. That's so absolutely what he would have done for me. That's why we're friends. Nobu coded right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's helping out and she's fucking touched. And it makes her realize, you know what? Like,
Care like about the marriage, like about getting married.
yeah,
She's just like, I love this man. Like this is who I want to be with. And if that means not getting married, that's her compromise. If she's willing to compromise the ring in order to be with her best friend and the person that she loves.
who care?
It's
Like, yeah,
everything.
they care about each other. It's so obvious that he sees her, she sees him. So then we jump to Bradley Cooper and his wife, and well, we see the wife, Janine, and she finds a pack of cigarettes. Undeniably, that they have to be Bradley Cooper's.
Yeah.
She
And she
hung
freaks
up,
out.
yeah, she freaks out. She's just hung up a mirror and she's throwing things. She grabs the mirror, smashes it on the ground. 2 seconds later, she comes with a little dustpan, and I wrote, "She was so real for that when she swept up the mirror." That is
Legit. I felt that
real.
when I first saw that, I saw her doing like, that's so real. That's so real. You freak out, you get pissed, you throw break stuff, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna clean this up now. Like,
Yeah.
and she proceeds to, I don't know if we want to get into it yet, but like the way that she kicks him out,
Oh, so,
essentially.
well, we can get into it because I was gonna say, so she sweeps that shit up. That was so real. I don't know what the real counter is at this point, but that shit was so real. So she
Mhm.
sweeps that shit up, and then they start playing "Somewhere We Know" as we get to see what happens to everybody now that they've. Oh,
I do
oh,
want to talk about that scene before we move on too quick when she finds the cigarettes, because as to like why she freaks out.
hold on. I actually want to move somewhere. We actually jumped over one more part. We
Okay.
forgot one story. Connor and Scarlett Johansson. So Connor decides, I'm going to make Scarlett Johansson know I'm serious. I really want this with her. So he buys a house that he knows Scarlett Johansson would like. And
Hmm.
he takes her there and he says, I want to buy this house, but I don't want to buy this house unless I know in the future you could maybe think about us being for real. He's not even asking her to say, yeah, you want to marry me one day, but maybe you want to marry me one day. And she realizes, oh, I've made an error. I've been too sweet and nice with him and used him too much.
I
He's
can't do
like,
this.
I can't do this. And she tells him, like, I'm so sorry, I can't do this. Um, so I just want to point that out. So Scarlett Johansson, she does like end it off with Connor, in what I think is a pretty healthy way, where she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I've like led you on here. This is not what we're gonna be." And then
Yeah.
Connor takes that, and he's like, "Okay,
He
this is
accepts it.
what that is."
Connor,
Um,
cool guy.
and we
Chill.
missed it, but Justin Long has been like
Freaking out.
Gigi, yeah, because she's not texting him anymore.
Hmm.
Stop texting him and stop calling him. So now he's like feeling her absence, and he's like, "Oh man, Gigi was really nice to me, and like I really actually liked Gigi. She was really interesting. Like, I actually miss Gigi." And so Gigi is also at this time also going on a date with the guy that Connor or not Connor with that Justin Long had set up for her a while back. So she's doing that. But so yes, cigarettes. So she finds the cigarettes. He was fucking lying.
He was lying. So like that's the aspect that is like the final draw because he lied to her about the cheating. And in that scene too, she almost immediately asks him if he's smoking again because she already accused him and he gaslit her. And then after being told he's cheating, she was like, "What else are you lying to me about?"
And he lied again.
And he lied again about not smoking. So when she saw those like cigarettes, it was final that like this man has and will be lying to me for the rest of our marriage. I can't accept this. So it was like a buildup of all these emotions and then immediately just freaks out. And that's why she went on a rampage. Like she threw out his clothes at first. She threw him down the stairs. She broke the mirror and then she took a breath. She cleaned up and proceeded to pick up all those things, clean up all those things. And I love the way that she leaves
Oh
him.
yeah. Folded. She leaves all his stuff nice and neat, folded on the stairs, and he comes home and sees that, and there's a carton of cigarettes, and it says, "Ben, knock yourself out," and P.S. I want a divorce.
Yes.
And so it plays Somewhere Only We Know, and we see Ben is like realizing his marriage is over. Then we see Janine, she's in her own apartment. she's putting a new mirror up. She's kind of becoming her own person now.
New mirror too, I
Yeah,
want to point out, is not just so it's not just easily breakable. It's made out of metal.
yeah,
So when she throws that, if she throws that down, it's gonna not like break, which is it felt metaphorical for that
yeah,
other mirror that she had.
for sure. Most of the time, nothing is done in movies accidentally. It's all on purpose. So then what happens is Gigi's on the date. She has a good date. Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck have a conversation where she basically is like, I don't need to get married. I'm okay not getting married. Like, I just want to be with you, and you have to get rid of your cargo pants, though. And he was like, this is ass, but I want to be with you, so I'll get rid of my cargo pants, I guess. Um, Connor, oh no, this hasn't happened yet. So Scarlett Johansson gets her own music career. She decides to lift herself
Be her
up,
own self,
be
have her life.
herself.
Yeah.
Um, and then Drew Barrymore, because her character barely matters in this movie, she deletes MySpace because I guess MySpace was just for dating. So she deletes MySpace, and she was ahead of the curve. She was ahead of her time.
Hmm.
Because we would all later delete MySpace, but she deletes MySpace, and everyone is just kind of living their lives now. ScarJo's got a career. Jennifer Aniston and Ben are decided they're not going to get married. Um, Janine's on her own, and Drew Barrymore's just going to give up on dating. I guess I don't. I guess that was the thing.
Gonna do her own life too. She's just gonna do her own thing. She's given up on trying to look for the one.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I would say the movie's like theme is women need to stop centering men,
Mm,
and men need to realize that maybe you should think about what you do to women. Will also have some goddamn self-respect for yourself.
mm.
Well, actually, no. The theme of the movie is to everyone have some goddamn self-respect. But so then Gigi has a nice date. She leaves, and he comes, and there's another knock on the door, and she thinks it's the guy that just left, and it's Justin Long, and he's like, "I like you, and you were right,
Here's
and
the pen.
here's the pen. Yeah, I came over to bring back your pen." And Gigi's like, "No, like you're a jerk," and he's like, "I know that, and I'm sorry." And he was like, "But Gigi, I was wrong. You're the exception. You're not the rule.
Mm.
I didn't like this." He had not changed enough as a person, I think, to have been okay to just be like, Gigi, date me. And I hate that Gigi took him.
Mm.
But I get it. I do. I truly get it. But like, I hate that she did it, but I get it. But he was
Yeah.
like, Gigi, you're the exception, not the rule. So then what happens is they kiss, and then you find out that Connor and Drew Barrymore finally meet face to face in person. And oh, they're actually a really great match. So now Connor is with Drew Barrymore. So they're together. Oh, yay. You see Bradley Cooper in a store about to talk to another girl, but then decides not to. Maybe
Mhm.
he's learning. And then
He's also being his own self and
yes,
figuring himself out. Yeah.
and then the movie ends with Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck in their apartment, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna throw out your cargo pants." And he goes, "Fine, just check out the pockets before you throw out my cargo pants." And there's a ring in there, and he says, "I actually have decided I was going to propose to you because I wanted you in my life more than I wanted to not be married. Let's get married." And they get married, and that's the movie. He's just not that into you. I don't know what the message is besides you can be your own person. Because some of these things went back. The only healthy relationship, Connor and Drew Barrymore, because they're so new, you don't know if they're unhealthy yet.
Mm.
Um, Scarlett Johansson becomes her own woman. Bradley Cooper is alone. Janine is alone.
Yeah. Out of all of them, without like Connor and Drew Barrymore, I mean, the second runner-up is the Jennifer Aniston's and Ben Affleck's relationship. They're pretty healthy.
Bennifer,
Bennifer.
Bennifer. Um, it's the best Bennifer of them all. So yeah, that was the movie
He's
where
just not that into you.
it's so cringy because I'm positive anybody watching this, girl or guy, can find themselves in one of these characters.
And that's what's so nice about it too. You know, It's got Delulu, but it's real because at one point in everyone's life, you've been a little Delulu. We've all been a little Delulu with some sort of scenario with another person. And that's part of being real.
Definitely part of being real is that, but like it's fun. It is fun to be Delulu. It is fun to think the guy likes you more than he does. It's fun to think the girl likes you more than she does. It's fun. What the point of the movie is that it's not fun if it's A, taking over your whole life, like Gigi, or B, she wasn't doing her job once. B, you're waiting for something that's never going to happen, like Jennifer Aniston. C, you're forcing a marriage to happen, like Janine. You're cheating, like Bradley Cooper. You're being the mistress, like Scarlett Johansson. You're not taking the hint, like Connor,
Mhm.
or you're using somebody like Scarlett Johansson. I have no notes for Drew Barrymore's character. I don't think she did anything crazy this whole movie. She was
Yeah,
just
she was just very much side. Like that, she was,
she was just getting dudes being weird to her, and she was like, "Well, no." If anything, Drew Barrymore knew what her shit was, because she could have
yeah,
tried to stick with that guy who was like bullshitting her, and she was like,
yeah. Delete.
"Delete."
Not
Yeah, like
talking to that guy again.
yeah, like so she was actually pretty good. Um, it just basically is like delusional is fun until it's not. It's fun until it's harmful,
Yeah.
But overall, this is a fun movie to watch
Especially during Valentine's Day.
during Valentine's Day. It keeps you in check. Makes you go, all right, who am I being today? Better
Yeah.
knock that shit off. But yeah, so that was he's just not into you. So Jess,
Thank you for joining us today. What were you gonna ask?
how would you rate the movie from
How
one?
would I rate the movie?
Ooh, wait. Let's make a funny rating scale. What's a fun rating scale? What is something terrible? Ooh, I know.
Okay.
Straight to jail is the worst. Collect,
To jail? Like, are you talking about the whole movie or
yes,
like the people in the movie?
no, the whole movie. Straight to
Okay.
jail is the worst. Collect $200 and pass go is the best. I don't. So you make up what you would find between that.
You think I have that kind of creativity?
Yes.
Damn. I appreciate your hopes in me. Um, it's not collect 200 and go. I don't
In,
have any.
in
I'm a
Monopoly, in
total.
Monopoly terms, what would you give
I
it?
don't play Monopoly enough to know the terms. I would say you can buy property.
Okay, this movie is like landing on a railroad
Okay.
because like it's not a lot, but it can really fuck up everyone else's game.
Hmm.
You own that railroad because you're like, give me my 25.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's fair. I would give it owning a railroad.
Okay. Mine is apartment or can own this apartment area. You know, when you land on so many of them and you're like, okay, you can actually start building on it.
Yours is a monopoly.
What is that one? Life? What do you
No,
mean?
to buy all the apart. Oh my god, it's so funny. To be able to put property on it, you have to own each one, which is a monopoly. To own all of one thing is a monopoly.
Yeah.
So you're saying this movie is a monopoly. That's what you would give it, monopoly.
Oh, okay. Is that okay? I didn't put those two together. Don't look at me like I'm dumb.
I'm not.
I told you. You are. That's your dumb face.
I'm not. So my
You're
question
not kidding.
is, um,
So, yeah, Monopoly.
you understand why it's called monopoly?
No, I understand that part, but like I just wanted to say in that aspect of the game Monopoly, that's where the movie lies, is when you're able to buy those monopolies.
Yes. But hold, do you
Okay.
think the apartment is a monopoly? What do you
No,
think
being
is
able
a
to
monopoly?
no, like being able to like buy multiple things and call it one and then like take money from any one of those. items that you've just bought, and
Yes,
that's Monopoly.
that's
I
exactly.
understand what Monopoly is. Is that why you thought I was dumb? I understand that, but I just didn't like put two and two together to call it a monopoly. I was just describing what the monopoly was.
Oh, you're
Why are
good.
you still looking at? Okay, this podcast has gone on long enough.
This episode is great.